Hey everyone, Rick Albert here. Let's talk about my predictions for 2025. Let's get started. All right, so here we are, start of the new year. Awesome. Hopefully you've already started lining up your goals. I know I'm working on my goals. And planning everything out. So let's talk about some of the predictions that I think is going to happen going into 2025, and I'd love to get your thoughts. First and foremost, I think inventory is going to increase, but I don't think it's going to make a huge dent. So here's my logic. We have all these people who bought in, let's say, anywhere from 2021 or even going really into 2022. I'm really focusing on those that bought in 2022. Who are they? They're the people who bought as interest rates were climbing. This is important to note because as they go and buy the next property, they're not going to be as sticker shocked when it comes to interest rates versus those that bought at the literally 2%, 3%, even 4%. It's going to be a harder sell for them to make that move. So because of that, those that did buy in 2022 are going to look and say, all right, I'm ready to move. And what are they going to be? They're going to be townhouses, condos, small homes. They're going to be like, I'm going to put it on the market. That's why I think inventory is going to increase. But here's the catch. They got to go somewhere. And because they have to go somewhere, it's almost going to be a wash in terms of adding supply, but also adding demand. The only difference is where they're going to go. So are they going to stay in LA? Or are they going to venture out to Ventura County, Riverside County, Orange County, which is typically where we see a lot of them go. A lot of them don't really leave California unless it's work related, whatever. The second thing is I was listening to a podcast recently about office space, and more companies like Amazon, they're doing a big push to bring everyone back into the office. To do that, they need to be in A+ locations, right? So if I'm going to be working in downtown LA, if someone were to recruit me, it better be a sweet building, right? It better have amazing views or great amenities, things that are really going to attract a great potential employee. And that's why I don't really think prices are really going to drop much here in Los Angeles, if at all. Because a lot of the jobs that would be coming in are generally going to be higher income earners, and they can pay more, they can qualify for more. So we may not even have as many issues that I've had recently with some of the mortgages and some of the qualifying. But I will say, this goes into my next prediction, direct lenders are going to become way more important going forward than mortgage brokers. We've had bigger issues on our side with mortgage brokers than we have with direct lenders. Now, there are some fantastic mortgage brokers out there. For those who don't know the difference, a direct lender is a mortgage person, right, that are giving you the money directly. Like it's coming out of their pocket into yours. A mortgage broker says, hey, I'm gonna go hunt for the best deal. So on conceptually, that makes more sense. But the problem is when they give you that initial pre-approval, they actually aren't giving you a full commitment because they're not the ones giving you the money. They really need that commitment from a direct lender, right? So United Wholesale Mortgage is one of the largest ones, and they typically work with mortgage brokers. But the challenge is they can't even get to that phase until an offer's been accepted. And if that mortgage, like United Wholesale Mortgage, whatever, if they change their guidelines on the mortgage broker, then they could be potentially screwed. So I think that really getting your ducks in a row is going to be super important going into 2025. So we've talked about inventory, demand still going to be there. So then it's really going to come down to locations, home sales. Are we really going to see 2021 with multiple offers, or is it going to be more like 2022, 2023, where it was like it slowed down? My hunch, it's going to slow down. I don't think we're going to see the 5, 10, 15, 20 offers that we had. I think we're going to see the 2 to 5, and depending on where and depending on pricing. Pricing is going to be so important because we can no longer say, well, this home sold for $1 million, therefore my house is worth $1 million. Well, no, that home sold for $1 million when interest rates were, at a different time, or it was election season when things slow down. The market is now shifting very differently because people are now changing how they're viewing the market based off external factors. The other thing to factor in is these homes are getting older. So I think we're going to see a lot of fixers hit the market, more than we have before. And I don't think they're going to sell for as high as we once were. So generally speaking, all of my fixers, unless it was already positioned as a teardown, all of my fixers have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars more than when I sold it to a flipper or whatever. Like, the offers I get from flippers tend to be much less than what I ultimately sell for. So for example, I sold a fixer where we ended up selling for $830,000. I had flippers coming in offering $600,000. Now that gap is going to start to slowly close because cost of construction is going to go up. If these tariffs get kicked in, if labor keeps going up because there's a labor shortage, cost of construction is going to, I don't want to say skyrocket, but it's definitely going to make an impact. And these homes, the average home every year keeps getting older, right? In the San Fernando Valley, average home's probably somewhere in the 50s. You go to the West Side, it's probably somewhere in the 20s. So we're getting to, 100 plus year homes, and these roofs are shot, and insurance companies are going to want those roofs replaced. The sewer line could have a crack in it, and you can't salvage it. Like, there's a lot of things that are going to be happening going forward. So it really takes great strategic planning. I'd love to get your thoughts on some of these predictions. Go ahead and comment below, and I'll see you at the next one.